Hey guys, if you like this video, there's a playlist for it along with playlists for pretty much everything I've done. A wealth of knowledge stacked on my channel. Please come check it out, click on my name on YouTube, and subscribe. Help me reach 100,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. What's going on, Tiny Boaters? How are you? Today I have a pretty special gift. I'm going to demonstrate to you step by step how I did my Gen-3 Utilidek core systems. That was my favorite wooden system. Aluminum wood, aluminum hybrid system. It's very cheap to do. Anybody can essentially literally do this. You can even do all wooden core frames off the same principle if you know how. But it's this is a step-by-step video of how I do it. Not just how I do it, but how I put it in the boat, how I envision and frame out everything. The kind of the steps that help you. And so for a long time, my audience has pushed for me, Mike, make step-by-step videos. Stop skipping on content. And I'm sorry for that. Really, the reason for that, and I've mentioned in other videos, is because I'm a super part-time DIY creator on YouTube, in conjunction with generally, not now, but generally I had a full-time job and a family, and obviously all the other obligations we have as people. For right now, I have the unique opportunity for at least this time, I'm a full-time tuber. So I'm going to act like I'm a full-time tuber and push out videos that are step-by-step and try and give you guys exactly what you want. I'm sorry for my channel being all over the place. It's the fact of being busy, but I want you guys to keep something in mind. If you really like this video and you want more stuff like this, I would love to empower you guys to do these things. So I ask that you kind of check out my Patreon page and just, if enough of my audience like subscribes to the lowest tier on that thing, like I could literally become a creator very, very quickly. I could just like not have to go find another job that's going to suck the life out of me. Think about that. Think about that. Anyways, I love you guys regardless, okay? This is my gift to you. Let me know what you think. Let me know what else you want, because right now is the time. If you guys want serious content, like step-by-step anything content, right now is the time. I am building up 2 boats simultaneously. So here we go. Dry hatch parts in here. Straight as it can possibly be, given the factor. That's pretty darn straight. This one is questionable. Okay. So what we want to do here, guys, we have these trays, and we have these 2 pieces of wood. You have to do this first. It's very odd. With the aluminum, obviously you have these done before you even mount anything to the aluminum. Or you could do it not that way, which, if you're having trouble with this stuff, make these and don't mount them to the trays yet. I mean to the bends yet. Have them, it's about 1.5 inches. You want to have about 3/4 of that on the lip. It's about right. It's about right where we're gonna want it. We have to mark it. And then we're running a piece of wood this way, and then here. We're making the whole core right now. Literally right now. And then mark them on the edges. Mark them down. Try and make the best line we can. Obviously it's a little hard. But we do this so we can replicate this in the back. Because in the end, a wood frame is super simple. We're going to do super simple stuff with this. This piece comes in to make sure we have the right spacing. Now we're not worried about this side because we can get this side later. We're specifically worried about whether or not there's going to be enough of a dry hatch right now. We could just always bend this over. Then going to line up with that edge. Then that would be that. We're just placing for replacement here. These things will be flipped in reverse. I just have to have this way, but to show you. But we're doing the back part of the frame right now, okay? It's not the up part. We would never, just so you don't get confused in the series. But why use 1.5 and not 2 or 3 or any thicker is because for one, 1/8 inch aluminum is extremely robust. 2, this is 3 inches or so. So that leaves a 1.5 here, and then the other 3/4 gap sits perfectly right here, so it's all aligned. Okay, that's why. And the other reason why this works is because the frame doesn't flex in this way. It tries to flex out that way, like, and you're just not going to be able to bend the aluminum past the wood. The wood kind of pushes together and tightens the frame the more you walk on it. It doesn't flex. It's extremely simple. Very simple. It's absolutely the way to go. We're gonna tie this up. We are gonna make holes first. So we gotta pre-drill some holes. You don't want to be pre-drilling the holes on the wood. You don't really need too many here. Just one every so many inches. But you definitely need like 3 here. You want it pretty tight right here. So make a tight set of screws right here. And then just so many. What is it gonna do? Like, it's not gonna come off. I got of course we're gonna line this one up with the other piece before we drill it, because that would be terrible. Okay, put one here. This one I'm thinking of running a whole full 3-inch flat bar piece. Simply because that piece just needs to be stronger than the rest, because it's not going to have any other additional support. We forgot to mention that this stuff does add to the support, giving it an actual 3-inch structural support once it's mounted. Always pulse when you drill through aluminum, or you'll hate life. Don't ask me why, but it just does a better job. Alright, I got them all friggin' drilled. And that was terrible. It was not fun. But whatever. Feel a little tight. That fits much better. Pour it in there. That's just textbook stuff. Doesn't weigh jack crap. Very light. I'm gonna have to get in there, dang it. And what it's gonna be epic is this looks like it's just gonna end. And I didn't plan that either. Sometimes the boat gods just bless you. I mean, that ends right there. So we can cap that end off. We could do foot pedal and then small hatch accessing all the stuff in there. Because I'm a fan of the smaller hatch. And then actual pedal system. But it has to be legit. So that'd be the joiner. And then just say right here, pedal. Stops right there, right where I cut that. That's on accident, but that's perfect. And then anything I have to do beyond that point is just cake. I'll stack something right in there at that angle. Put this bracket here. I want to run this adjacent bracket plus, because this is the seat post. This is going to have a high amount of tension on. This is where I don't have the most confidence in wood. That's not either glassed or really well fastened together. So yeah, I just got 2 pieces of angle. That's just 1/16 angled, which is fine. Pedestal itself will kind of sit in like that. I mean, obviously the other way. So it'll mount in, and then it'll have more to grip onto the underside. Yeah, and that'll work. Push it down.
So this is sketch. Sometimes you gotta do whatever you gotta do to see the light. I don't know, we got to figure out if that pedestal mount, that foot pedal is gonna fit right in. I gotta bring the whole trolling motor out now. So this is pre-planning the big game, guys. Go to Edge 55. And has the most ridiculous foot pedals ever. So if it'll fit this POS foot pedal, it'll fit anything. So the foot pedal might have a different. We might have to just go. We can't use these. After some trials and tribulations and all those other fancy words, I've decided strongly against capping the door. What we are going to do instead, making one gigantic hatch. I really would kind of like to do that instead. Just one big gigantic hatch, have the pedal snug back as far as possible, and then have the hatch, but then have a recessed indent like Matt's old boat inside the hatch. And that would be pretty cool. Alright guys, we're gonna weigh this thing. It's 29, 30, right between 29 and 30. Can you see that? Oh my gosh. Which is a pretty sick deal. Pretty happy about it. Considering, and this is 30 pounds. I know you guys are saying, I don't know if that's a lot for four, but it's actually, I think it's incredible considering that I did my Gen 4 ultralight core with the totes attached to it for that boat, you know, my Yak Killer, and that was 28 pounds. This was 29 teetering on 30. Pretty good. I know it doesn't have the totes on it, so the totes are gonna weigh, let's see how much the damn tote weighs. Here. It's like we're setting it off. No, not hold. Alright. So these are damn 4 pounds by themselves. 38 pounds out the door with the totes. So 10 pounds, about 10 pounds heavier. So it's 4 pounds a piece, or just under 4 pounds. So it was roughly, let's say 38 pounds. So roughly 10 pounds heavier for a core that is grossly wider and bigger and stronger than my most advanced aluminum frame. And so I do stand by my wood frames 100%. This thing will be just as rigid and inflexible as a 1/16 aluminum frame. It might not be near as strong as a 1/8 aluminum frame or even a pine frame, because I mean, this would work for a pine frame though. This would weigh a lot though for a pine frame. This would weigh, gosh, like closer to 50 pounds, easy. Because pine, I swear, this is almost half the weight of pine. It is also not as strong and dense as pine. Pine is very strong. People like underrate pine a lot, but this is strong enough, just like 1/16 aluminum is strong enough to do what we have to do to it. So I'm pretty happy with this whole thing. Okay guys, so now we are prepping the whole surface with outdoor carpet adhesive, giving a pretty thick layer, because we are going to wrap this in marine vinyl. Okay, I've never used marine vinyl before, but it's going on now. So I cut my strip. I only got this stuff in a 6x6 foot roll of it, so it came short of the 8 foot, so I had to cut it in sections. I was gonna have to cut it in sections anyways. There's no way you can just wrap a bunch of pieces like this. It's not like it's a flat surface all around. So what I did is I put it in certain sections, made sure there was enough glue, because the stuff didn't have a rubber backing like the standard bunk carpet we uses, where that rubber backing and the glue just meshed perfectly. This stuff had to add a little bit thicker layer of glue, so just keep that in mind if you're gonna do it. I stapled it down on the section just for stability purposes. I put that piece of angle over it to get it to bend right, just while I secured it. And then I went down in sections. As I'm stapling, I am pulling the fabric snug. Okay, so it fits tight around the wood, or it's gonna have this loosely masked bubble-like look, and you don't want any of that. You want to be very, very clean with the edges and get it all good. And now the final step is attaching the dry hatch lip. This is how we do it. I don't know why more people don't do the dry hatch lip. It's insanely simple to do. All you gotta do is get a blowtorch and some brazing alloy and a grinder to cut the sections and bend it around your tote. But I had these pre-fit around the totes we're about to attach to that were sitting in the Smokercraft earlier. But really, you just attach these on the last remaining 3/4 gap around the flat bar. And because we measured precisely before we even did any of this stuff, they fit right perfectly in place. Right there. That's all you need. Square sections on the sides, they'll bleed out any amount of water. We have used this tried and true for many boats now. No problems. No water ever gets inside the liner. Ever inside the bin. Nothing. That was worth all of it. We're gonna run a carpet top. Now we don't have to worry about the bottom of the carpet pressing and fading and being all weird. We're gonna run a top here. We're gonna run wood joiners. That's how we're gonna do it. While we have the lights on, I'll show you the progress. Rod locker. I did some odd things happen here where I had to cut in weird spots, and it didn't come out as clean as I wanted to, but whatever. Other than that, everything's turning out pretty good. And for the core frame to go all the way through the boat, all the way through the back, and just anchor up to tie points, okay? I have 3/4 by 1/16 aluminum tubing attached to aluminum angle rims that I ran across the subfloor all the way adjacent, all the way down in here. And then again right here you can see very, very clearly the undersports. That's how the main structure of the frame is. Okay, that's where it all comes from. And then you see me doing this again over here. Although there's no wood, the same type of framing is implemented with just straight up angled. That's all 1/16, no 1/8. I'll explain this whole cluster anyways, but I made a DIY switch panel. I'm also going to put a step-by-step video on how you can do that for yourself as well. This is where the seat post was, and this came out pretty sweet. I mean, I could have done a cleaner job, but this will work for what I need it to work for. And under that, here's a subfloor, which is 3/8 resin-coated piece of wood, kind of to mimic what it was before in the other build, although I have supports underneath it so it won't cave in like the other one. I wish I would have just used aluminum. I didn't have the sheeting or the size available for it at the time, but we're still going to make it work really well. I'm going to show you guys some cool stuff here. This is left open because we're still going to do some framing stuff, but after we get all the tubes in, because that's also a big issue. For those of you who are wondering how the rest of the core attaches, the rest of the core is really reliant on the side rails. And I'm not the only one to ever do these side rail deals. Yes, are you guys wondering if I drill through the side of the hole to attach these rails? Absolutely. But it's way above the water line that these rails are ever there. So you can use open-ended rivets all day. They're not going to mess up. But this is common practice. This is the side rail that was used for the initial deck, which I raised a few inches. And it's the same principle, only they bent it here. See? And that's how it goes down. So it's common practice. It's not anything we're doing anything different. We're just doing it in a simpler way. I don't know what kind of tool they use. If anybody knows what kind of tool they use to bend this, please comment in the section below and tell me, because I would love that tool. All right, guys, so what did you think about all this? Let me know, because I try to make this video long enough to cover the important parts, but still short enough to keep it interesting. And, you know, a lot of DIY tubers out there make you want to gouge your eye out with a fork as you're watching their content because it's so boring. So if there's other little things you can tell me that I need to hone in on, let me know. But please help me become a full-time creator, and I will help you guys continue to build the baddest DIY boats in your area to enhance your quality of fishing and therefore your quality of life. Thank you very much. I love you guys.